Talk to us about your draft. What that was like, what leading up to it and everything like that. We discussed a little bit about what it was like 23 years ago for me and how much it's changed and the hoopla and the extravaganza that we're going to see play out in real time tonight.
So what's funny about that, Ryan, is mine was 2001, so 20 years ago, and I was such a bottom-of-the-barrel prospect that I knew I wasn't getting drafted. My agent, actually, Joe Linta, he's got, Joe Flacco and Juszczyk and Cam Brate and a bunch of guys. He gets a lot of Ivy League guys. He said to me, 50-50 whether or not I would even get signed, Ryan. Even get signed. So I sat there and watched every second of the draft. I only got 2 phone calls, one in the first round and one in the 5th round each day. And both calls were from the Cincinnati Bengals. So you have to remember, you know this, Ryan, because you were 98, but in 2001, the Bengals were the worst of the worst. They hadn't had a winning season in 10 years. But when my phone rang in the first round, I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready to be a Bengal. Let's do this. Meanwhile, they were just saying, hey, Ross, if you don't get drafted, we might be interested in you. I was like, oh, okay. But I'm ready now. If you want me now, I'm ready. So the funniest thing about it is my agent, Ryan, Joe Linta, he said, the longer it waits for me to call you after the draft, the worse the sign is. The worse of it. So I was sitting there, dude, all my college roommates and teammates had gone out every night second semester of senior year. I got up at 5 a.m. to train. I sat there for an hour after the draft. Nothing. So finally, I'm starving. I go out to the eating club. Yes, it sounds fancy. It probably is. So I go out to the eating club. They're all outside grilling, having beers, and I'm I'm starving. I couldn't eat. I got out there. Nobody would even look at me. Nobody would talk to me because they could just tell on my face how upset I was. I walked back to my dorm room. As I'm walking up the steps, I hear my phone ringing. I'm on the 3rd floor. So as I'm sprinting up the steps, I grab my phone, and it's Joe Linton. He says, Ross. I said, what? He's like, where have you been? And I said, you told me it would take a while. If it took a long time to call me, that I wasn't going to get signed. I was hungry. He's like, well, you're the newest member of the Washington Redskins at the time, right? Washington football team now. That was, I went from as low as I've ever been in my life, thinking I just gave up my whole second semester senior year of partying for nothing to getting signed. I ran back out to the eating club. I walk out into the courtyard where everybody is, and I just say to my buddies, Redskins. And they all went crazy. We started jumping up and down. Everybody was excited. All the girls were looking over at me. I was like, yeah, see, you should have hung out with me. Too bad now. It was awesome.
Oh, God, draft day stories, man. That's a good one. That is a good one for sure. Yeah, you are listless and then overjoyed in a matter of moments.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.